So I've recently moved into a new apartment. I went from a 1 bedroom to a 2 bedroom, and it's just so amazing to have all this extra space. I have an upstairs and a downstairs. Let me just show you right quick the downstairs. So I have a larger living space. I did get a new rug and 2 accent chairs and a coffee table. One of my friends built this coffee table from walnut. It's all one tree, and the bottom is different colors because he varied the inside and the outside of the wood to give it a little bit more depth. My dining room's a little bit of a work in progress, but I do have space for my dining room table and then the shelf of all my plants. My dad actually built this plant shelf for me and I absolutely love it. And then I have my standard apartment kitchen. So with all of this space, when I was packing up to move, I was digging deep into my closet and found some boxes of a lot of different travel products that I have purchased over the years that I've only used a couple times and some that I've never used. So I wanted to go over some of the travel products that I will be decluttering because nothing motivates you more to get rid of stuff than moving so you can avoid packing it and moving it. Even though I have the extra space that I could store it here, I want to declutter and get rid of the stuff that I just don't use. So let's go over what I'm decluttering and what I'm replacing it with. But first, if you want to be notified of travel tips and resources and even get to know me a little bit more, then sign up for my email newsletter. I'll leave a link in the description below. My newsletter subscribers get firsthand of all the travel tips and what's going on in my life before anyone else. So if you want to be notified, sign up for my email newsletter. Now, I do want to give a caveat to some of these products that even though I'm decluttering them because I don't use them, you may still have a need to pack them and use them when you travel. So take or leave whatever I say, but these are what I am no longer using. So this first product I bought a couple decades ago, 20 years ago. It's a travel blanket. It's no secret that I am always cold when I travel, specifically on airplanes. And there was one particular trip that I had a layover, and on my first flight, I was absolutely freezing on that flight. So when I got to the airport to wait for my next flight, I headed straight to one of the shops and purchased a very expensive travel blanket because of course everything in the airport is expensive. But I have used this on numerous trips. I have brought this blanket with me pretty much everywhere, but I'm only really using it on the airplane. Occasionally I'll use it at my accommodation if my hotel or Airbnb is really cold because hotels can be notorious for just having just a thin sheet and a thin blanket. And so for another layer of warmth, my travel blanket comes in handy. But because I like to pack carry-on only, I was finding that it was just taking up space in my suitcase and I was only using it on the flight there and on the flight back. So the middle of portion of my trip, it was just taking up space. So instead of a single-use travel blanket, I found a product that has even more uses, and that is a microfiber towel. So I've had a couple different ones from different brands, but both of them pack down a lot smaller than that travel blanket. And what I like about a microfiber towel is that it can serve as a blanket, yes, and keep me warm on the plane and in my hotel. But if I need an extra bathroom towel, it can serve that purpose. If I need a beach towel, it's perfect for that. And because it's microfiber, it's also quick drying. There's a lot of trips that I take that I'm only in a city for a couple of days and then I'm on to the next. So if I go to the beach on one of those days and get my towel soaking wet, then I want to ensure that it gets as dry as possible overnight. So when I pack up the next morning to head to the new city, that I can ensure that there's nothing wet in my suitcase that's going to cause any mold or mildew while I still have some clean clothes in my suitcase. So just to kind of protect the quick drying feature of the microfiber towel is fantastic. So I pack a microfiber towel with me everywhere I travel, and we'll be decluttering the blanket. So ever since I started this channel, I've been talking about packing carry-on only, and one of the products that I absolutely love in my packing system is packing cubes. I find that they keep me super organized. I can separate my tops and bottoms, or I can separate by outfits. Love a good packing cube for that organization. Now, I know it's been debated whether packing cubes actually save you space. I can go either way. I think it just kind of depends on certain situations, but I just love the organization piece of it to keep everything separated. I have since been converted to compression cubes, like packing cubes, keep everything organized, but they have an additional zipper so that you can tighten and compress all of your clothes even further. And I find that that compression just saves me just a little bit more space. So those little cubbies that I have more additional space, I can potentially buy a souvenir at my destination and pack and have just that extra room. So I will be decluttering just my regular packing cubes and be completely converted to compression cubes. This next product, so many travel influencers over the years have had this item on their list, so I thought that I needed it when I started traveling a lot, and that is a travel neck pillow. This one's inflatable, and it is compact, and you can just attach it to your personal item or suitcase with a carabiner clip, or just tuck it away. I mean, it's kind of small, and then pull it out. There's a manual pump that you can inflate the neck pillow. But I find that I was never pulling it out, taking the time to inflate it, and then using it. On most domestic flights, I'm not necessarily falling asleep. I only really try to fall asleep on long international flights. But on newer aircrafts, they have the adjustable headrest. So if I do want to try to fall asleep, I'll just move the headrest and lean against that. Or I'll use my microfiber towel that I'm bringing if I'm not already using it because I'm cold, or a packing cube or compression cube. I'll pull that out. I always keep one in my personal item as with some extra clothes just in case I need to check my suitcase. So I'll pull out that packing cube and use that as a pillow. So never really without. So I haven't found myself really using the inflatable travel neck pillow. It is just taking space in my closet. So this is one that I am going to declutter. This next item, I really did think I was going to use more than I have. I've only used it once or twice, and that is a handheld luggage scale where you can just push this under the strap of your suitcase and hold it up to see how much your suitcase weighs. I'm very fortunate that most of the airlines that I fly do not have any weight restrictions on your carry-on or personal item. So I've never needed to weigh and ensure that my suitcase was a certain weight. Now, checked bags, there is the weight limit on the airlines that I fly. So I really wasn't using this like I thought I was going to. And if there is a point in the future where I'm going to fly with an airline that does have strict weight restrictions, then I'll just use my bathroom scale and just note how much my suitcase weighs, maybe unpack it a little if I want to get souvenirs, or maybe just not purchase anything, or bring clothes that I can just donate at my destination for a lighter suitcase on my return. But I just haven't used this luggage scale. The battery even died and I haven't replaced it because I'm not using it. However, if you're flying an airline that does have strict weight restrictions specifically for your carry-on, suitcase, and personal item, I think this is a really good investment. So might give it to someone who would get some use out of it. So I actually travel with this product quite frequently, but I've recently stopped, and that is a travel hair straightener. So I have the travel hair straightener from Babyliss Pro, and very tiny, no wider than my finger, dual voltage, saves some space in my suitcase, like works great. I have thin, fine hair, so I don't need anything that massive, so this is fine. For people with thicker or a lot more hair, this can be quite annoying and challenging to style your hair with, but for me, works just fine. The biggest con, and it's why I kind of stopped using it, is that it has a set temperature. I believe it gets up to 400 degrees Fahrenheit and you cannot change the heat. And that is just way too hot for my hair. So I have decided to stop traveling with this straightener and instead just bring my regular size straightener. My regular size hair straightener is dual voltage and I can control the temperature. So I will just forego the extra space that that travel hair straightener provided just so that I can protect my hair. So if I'm gonna bring a hair tool, my regular size is dual voltage and I will just forego that extra space. So I will be decluttering my travel hair straightener. Over the years, I have accumulated so many single country travel adapters for plugs. So I could just switch out depending on which country that I'm going to. These are all unnecessary. Long ago, I had transitioned to a universal adapter. I believe this is Travelon's universal adapter where you can adapt it to whatever country you're in, and it will go to multi countries, many different uses, but it's all one adapter. It allows you to then plug in, has a USB port. The newer models have multiple USB and USB-C ports. This is an older version, but I'm going to declutter all of these single country adapters and just stick with one universal adapter. It's way more space saving. And if I want to go to multiple countries that have different plugs, this can just be all encompassing. Now, I may be showing my age with this one, but I will be decluttering all of my printed maps and guidebooks for different countries. I have so many different guidebooks, and I actually really do love these because they're so in-depth on all the history, things to see and do in a country, and can be great. But in today's society and modern technology, there are so many different apps and blogs and websites for you to research your destination. Then you can just pull what you want to see and do into an Apple Note or your Google Doc, or even Google Maps and other map apps can allow you to pin locations. So you can have it all on your phone and not have to worry about carrying a printed map or bringing a big bulky guidebook. If you are old school and are finding yourself with lots of guidebooks, maybe it's time to switch, declutter those, and start using websites, your apps, and go from there. I believe Lonely Planet, I have their Costa Rica book. I believe they're in the beta version of their app where they'll allow you to research a country within their app. And they have features now that they're building where you can build an itinerary within the app. So you get the features of their book with all the information of that country with some more features that a book doesn't allow you to pin different activities that you want to do and build your itinerary within that country or trip, and you can have lots of saved. I think it might be still in the beta as of this recording, but that's something that Lonely Planet is building, and that's kind of cool. So check out Lonely Planet's new app. Not sponsored, but I have looked at it a little bit and it looks pretty cool. There's only a few countries on it so far, but it is expanding. So I think that's another good app to put in your app rotation. When you're researching the country that you plan to visit, and you are potentially visiting one that's notorious for pickpocketing, you'll inevitably come across a lot of people who recommend a money belt. And a money belt is just this thin pouch that allows you to put your money and your valuables in it. And it's very thin so that you can put it close to your body and under your clothes so that you won't have to worry about someone pickpocketing you. And these are great if you want to have one of these. I think it's a great thing to have, but I found myself not really using this. I think if you just take certain precautions and just be smart about how you travel, i.e. don't put things in your back pocket. If you have a purse, don't leave it wide open, zip everything up, keep things in internal pockets, things like that. Keep your purse on you, keep your head on a swivel, and just be aware of your surroundings. Then I think you'll be fine. And I have found that I'm not really using a money bill. It's just awkward to constantly get your money out when making purchases. And so just never really used it. Now, I've actually used it when I go on walks here domestically because it has a great lightweight feel to it and a stretchy elastic band that'll just throw my phone and ID in it and just use it as a sling bag. So I actually do use it, but I have other sling bags that I could use for that purpose. So I don't necessarily need a money belt. I might donate this one instead. And then the last couple of items are more just practices. So instead of bringing lots of travel size bottles of shampoo and conditioner, since I have limited liquid allowance when I pack carry-on only, I will instead just use the shampoo and conditioner that my hotel provides. Or if there's a product that they don't provide, I can easily go to a convenience store or a pharmacy in that destination and purchase shampoo and conditioner. I'm not really loyal to that many different brand products. There are some products like my sunscreen and facial moisturizer that I am kind of brand loyal. So I'll use my liquid allowance for those. But in other products like shampoo, conditioner, body wash, I'll just use what my accommodations provide or purchase a small amount at my destination because you can easily find that anywhere. And then lastly is no longer packing a dedicated laundry bag. Instead, because I pack packing cubes or compression cubes now, I will just use the empty packing cube that I have used all the clothes that are now dirty as a dedicated laundry bag, or I'll use that as the dirty clothes packing cube on my trip. Now, I have an away suitcase that does come with a dedicated laundry bag that really doesn't take up any space. So I do use that from time to time for like my socks and underwear, just because it's easier as the day goes by to just put those all in one bag, because sometimes shirts or pants, depending on how much you sweat, you're not really getting it that dirty and you could potentially rewear, but I'm not rewearing my socks or underwear. So I will use the dedicated laundry bag that my suitcase provides. But again, if you have a suitcase that doesn't come with a dedicated laundry bag, you don't necessarily need to pack or bring a dedicated laundry bag. Just use a packing cube that you have emptied. So those are some of the travel products that I'm going to be donating or decluttering now that I've moved. But I'd love to hear, what are some travel products that you no longer use when you travel that maybe a travel influencer convinced you to purchase? Leave a comment down below on what you no longer bring when you travel. I'd love to hear it, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao for now.